Gray. The backdoor pass to Hill. Hill was the MVP of the tournament, and this is easiest two of the doubleheader. The Johnnies celebrate their first holiday festival win of the tournament since 1996. 63-45 was the final, and it wasn't that close. NC State shot 20% from the game. How about this? At one point, the Wolfpack went 21.5 minutes with only 2 field goals. Cameron Bennerman had a dunk, or rather a three-pointer with 7:02 to play in the first half. Cedric Simmons finally scored with 13:05 to play in the second half. Those were the only 2 baskets during a 21.5-minute stretch. And Norm Roberts and his group very proud, and deservingly so, with a very convincing win.
It was a great night. It was a great night for our basketball team. It's a great night for our program, especially with all the stuff we've been dealing with throughout the year. The win goes to these kids. They really worked hard. They really worked hard, and the thing that we told all the guys is if you believe you can do it, and everybody in this room believes they can get it done, we can do great things. And they did something great tonight because they really competed the whole game, and they believed in one another. So it's a terrific night for us, but we also know this. We know it's one game.
Consolation game for third place.
Comes with the left hand.
Well, getting a little hairy here. Better close the windows. We're going to lose a ball. What a night. What a performance.
So the St. John's Red Storm in a huge upset will defeat the 17th ranked North Carolina State Wolfpack, and Mayo is shaken up. He's down on the floor. The final score, St. John's 63, North Carolina State 45. St. John's holding an opponent under 50 points for the first time since a 61-46 win over Providence in February of 2000. St. John's subdued at the final buzzer as Mayo was shaken up, and now he gets up under his own power. The St. John's Red Storm, for the 13th time and the first time since 1996, win the Dreyfus Holiday Festival.
And probably the most improbable time. They came in here stumbling and fumbling and massive problems, losing Rodney Epperson, who was averaging 18 points in, like 30 minutes a game. And but these kids are just resilient for St. John's. NC State played right into their hand with a lot of quick threes, did not force the action down inside, and St. John's got a lead, got a dream, and believe me, they stuck to their knitting and played a brilliant game. Well done, the game plan by Norm Roberts, but the kids made it go. A very young St. John's team that believed.
NC State shot 20% from the field. They committed 19 turnovers. Their starters scored only 21 points. 19 of the 21 from Julius Hodge. 3 of their starters did not score.
Incredible. It was clear from the beginning that the energy was wearing the white jerseys of St. John's, but you just had that feeling all along, Ken, that, a powerful Wolfpack, and they looked so good against a tough Columbia team on Tuesday night that, this little thing would go away and Wolfpack would prevail, but they continued to shoot quick threes, very cold, and with each miss, St. John's got smarter, tougher, more fearless.
So the order finished: St. John's, NC State, Columbia, and Canisius. We'll return to Madison Square Garden in a moment. Norm Roberts and his entire squad heads out to receive the championship trophy. Well deserved.
Yeah, it was. This score is going to have reverberations around the country, but if you sat here and watched it, it wasn't a fluke. St. John's clearly the dominant team for whatever reason. NC State just didn't show up, and it started the first 10 minutes of the game. It was we kept saying, well, St. John's is they're going to fold, but they didn't. They didn't, and they're the champion.
So Norm Roberts out of Springfield Gardens High School, Queens College, his dream job, and in his inaugural season as St. John's head coach, an improbable victory over the North Carolina State Wolfpack.
He's 2-0 as a head coach in the world's most famous arena. What a start.
Darrell Hill named tournament most valuable player, averaged 21 points in the 2 games. So St. John's wins it by the score of 63-45. Next Thursday at 11, College Hoops Weekly, presented by Geico, with hosts John Giannone and Bill Raftery. It will be a long trip back down south for Herb Sendek and the North Carolina State Wolfpack as they go down to the St. John's Red Storm, who led by as many as 28. St. John's wins their 13th Holiday Festival Championship. For Bucky Waters, Matt Lachlan, producer Eddie Caginelli, director John Gallagher, Kenny Albert saying so long from the Garden.
Worcester, Massachusetts sports writer termed the Seton Hall 9 a very ferocious and thieving band of players in a way. So the nickname Pirates was used in his column. So from evermore, from 1931 onward, we're known as the Seton Hall Pirates. John Honey Russell was immeasurably important to the Seton Hall program. His reign spanned over 4 decades. And what he did was he brought, various star athletes in towards the latter part of the 1930s. The late 1930s was the launching pad. I call it the golden era of Seton Hall basketball because they had the winning streak, which went through the entire 1939-40 season, and it was led by what was known as the Wonder Five, which was led by All-American Bob Davies. From their winning streak, they were able to capitalize on this, make a postseason tournament appearance, and were successful in terms of bringing the name of Seton Hall to a wider audience.
With greater national recognition came better players, as big man Walter Dukes and high school point guard phenom Richie Regan joined the Pirates. The pieces were in place for a great basketball team.
At the time, obviously, he was big. He was a 6'3" point guard. You're talking, 40 years ago, over 40 years ago, and I don't think, he was like almost the Magic Johnson of his day in terms of size at point guard and being effective at that position. He made this incredible 3/4 falling over the shoulder pass. I don't know if you've ever seen the clip or not, right into the hands of, I guess it was Walter. And, I mean, that clip was shown everywhere, and it was seen by everybody, and he always said that's really what made him a #1 draft choice.
The high point of the Pirates' 1950 success was the NIT championship victory over arch rival St. John's University in 1953 at Madison Square Garden.
Richie Regan was a great player in the 50s. He was an All-American when Seton Hall was absolutely the top of the basketball world, and he saw, through his years as a coach and an athletic director, he saw the ups and the downs. Seton Hall was down, and he saw it come back again, and it was because of Richie that we were in the Big East Conference, and ultimately, as a player, as a coach, as an administrator, and as a fundraiser, we would have never accomplished the things we did at Seton Hall were it not for Richie Regan.
Regan was able to take the team together during the early 1960s and build a cohesive unit.
In the 60s, Nick the Quick Workman started the Hall as a scoring sensation. Bill Raftery led some solid teams for the Pirates in the 70s, but it was P.J. Carlissimo who would lead the program back to national glory.
It was just a great atmosphere. I mean, there was a pride, a rekindling of pride from the 50s. I mean, he resurrected all those deep feelings that people had.
The pinnacle of Carlissimo's reign was a trip to the NCAA championship game in 1989.
When we beat Indiana and then we beat UNLV, we didn't think they were upsets, but the rest of the country did. And then we beat Duke in the semifinal, and we kind of became the underdog. And I think a lot of people liked the way our team played. They liked how hard we played. I think that was part of our rebirth.
In the early 90s, Terry DeHare started for the Hall and fared well in national competition. In 2000, Tommy Amaker took the Pirates to the Sweet 16. The team is now led by Louis Orr.
And now, with the new era dawning, Louis Orr is going to put his own stamp on the program.
Louis Orr's recruiting ability and leadership have Seton Hall poised for success heading into their next century.
Got a lead, got a dream, and believe me, they stuck to their knit game. Well done, the game planned by Norm Roberts, but the kids made it go.
There was reason to celebrate in Madison Square Garden when the Red Storm recently upset NC State to win the Holiday Festival tournament. It was their first victory over a ranked team in almost 2 years.
This score is going to have reverberations around the country, but if you sat here and watched it, it wasn't a fluke. St. John's clearly the dominant team.
While it was only one game, it was tangible proof that this scrappy bunch is for real.
We all believed we could win. We didn't go in there thinking like that we were going to lose, and when the game was over, we weren't like, wow, I can't believe this. You know, we knew what we can do if we just all played our game.
We worked real hard up to that game in practice and throughout the whole week.
With 4 freshmen finding their way on a completely overhauled squad, the Red Storm started slow, but they ignored the critics and competed every night, and results began to follow.
Good start by St. John's in the first half defensively. They got a lot of good things happening.
We have a lot new players, and you know, they're just stepping in and playing their role. You know, they're not trying to do anything that they can't do, and in the players from last year, we're not trying to do anything that we can't do.
I'd like to thank the fans because they've been with us since the beginning. Even though what happened last year and everything, they stayed with us, you know. Even some of the big losses we had this year, fans that stayed by our side.
That guy has got his team playing with fire, passion, great sense of optimism.
Even when they go against superior opponents, the Red Storm don't concede. They give it back as hard as it comes.
That's 16 now for Darrell Hill. Just keep counter-punching enough to hang around.
You just have to pick it up and like really not worry about what the defense is doing.
Nice job inside, Eugene Lawrence. Got a quick counterattack.
Pretty much worry about us and ourselves and how we reacting to, you know, the punch that they throwing. And the most important is how we throw it back.
We just gonna need to go out and play every game like it's our last and give that energy and intensity like we're supposed to.
Oh, the 2 scorers are getting it done. That's exactly what you would expect. They have an inside presence in Hamilton. They've got a guard who can do literally everything in Hill.
Following the lead of Hill and Hamilton are a strong supporting cast. Freshman Dexter Gray, Eugene Lawrence, and Cedric Jackson have all infused new life into the starting lineup. And off the bench, Ryan Williams and Tyler Jones provide a high-flying spark.
Ryan's gotten better and better every game, and I think he's more focused in on his role, what we need him to do. We need him to be an energy guy. We need him to be a guy that's slashing to the basket, offensive rebounding, catching lobs, a defensive stopper.
The alley-oop off the inbounds from Lawrence to Tyler Jones.
What we want from Tyler is for him to be an energy guy. We want him to be a guy that plays above the rim. We want him to be a guy that runs the floor hard every time because he can really put pressure on other big guys to run.
Whether it's 20 seconds or 20 minutes, I just want to be able to help the team when I'm needed.
This year's edition of St. John's is unified, and all share a common goal: to restore respectability to one of the most storied names in college basketball.
We're definitely making steps forward as to being a great program once again. You know, we're the foundation. That's what we keep hearing. We're the foundation that's going to build to the new era. So we're happy to be a part of it.
All the big alumni and everything, like they call coach or email coach, tell them how good we're doing. And it's a positive effect that's going on right now. So you can say the program is going up. It's rising right now.
We've tried to get across to our players that no one's bigger than the program. No one's bigger than St. John's. Not Norm Roberts, not any of our players. And you know, it's a team effort. It's a family here, and we all got to play our part.
Coming up next, we're right.
It's Connecticut and Syracuse. And there's several teams that are looking to make a run to the Final Four in St. Louis this year. Let's take a look at what makes the Big East the conference that it is.
Launches and hits a huge three.
I think we're the best conference in the world, if you ask me. Night in and night out, you're playing against a tough opponent, whether it be West Virginia at home or you're up at Syracuse, or even at home at the RAC. You know, it's always a tough game, and you know you're gonna have to battle to get a victory.
It's kind of like a pre-NBA. It's like you got guys like Chris Thomas and guys like Jerry McNamara and guys like that coming out. When you play in the next level, you got to guard guys like Steve Nash and Stephon Marbury. So it's actually a great challenge for you if you love challenges, and I love challenges, and I just always want to come out there and just show I'm the best.
We think about it every day we go to the weight room, that it's typical Northeast basketball, even though now we have teams from all over the country. It's Northeast basketball. It is competitive, and what's amazing is like a team like Pitt is so physical, does not foul a great deal.
You know, it's those other teams, they're the real physical ones. We just get banged around a lot. We just take the hits and we just adjust.
That's how it is in the Big East, so we're already used to that. Like last year, they called us the most physical team, and we're trying to get that back this year and things like that. But
Big East is going to be crazy, and it's like you do nothing but bang inside.
That is Gomes to the basket. He is just good.
You have your big guys, you have your quick guards, you have your wings. And you guys are very versatile in this league, I think. You know, guys who, like I mentioned, 6'8", 6'7", who can put it on the floor and also can shoot the ball. So it gives guys on other teams who might were not used to guarding guys who could play both inside and outside a tough matchup.
Every year, because we're in the Northeast, the Big East is going to have the craftiest guards in the country. The craftiest guards come from the Northeast. Sometimes they get overshadowed when the big men are good. I think this is a year where the big men in the Big East are really powerful. But when it comes down to it in the end, Big East guards win a lot of games.
Down to McGrath, who lays it in.
Every single night is a war. Every single night you're playing against some of the top players in the country. It also really prepares teams for March, you know, with so many tough games, you know, before the postseason when you get to March, and you know, you're ready for the competition.
Even if you have balance in a league, if you don't win the national championship, people question your league, and I think we've answered all the questions in the last 2 years.
This is nothing but just put it in cement that we have great basketball. Just those 2 national championships, there's no doubt in anybody's mind the quality of basketball because they both got it done, you know, in March.
The league is tremendous. It's got great depth, great balance, but great power as well.
And then it's, you know, the competition, it doesn't get any better. You know, the competition is second to none. I mean, I think this league is definitely the best. Not one of the best, but the best league in the country.
It's what you dream of. You know, Big East is one of the most exciting conferences in the country. I mean, you get to travel all over, play against great players and great teams. It's been really exciting. Nothing better.
It's an unforgiving league, so they don't care if you don't have as much talent as they do. You're going to get run over, and so it makes it a very good challenge every single night. And I think that's what you want to do. You want to play in the best league in America, which I think it is, and then have a chance to play on the big stage.
Going against the best teams every night. I mean, who wouldn't like that? If you're a basketball player, I mean, who wouldn't want to go against the best players every night?
That's what the Big East is all about. Inside, outside, guards, big men. Every team always have at least 2 players who's real, real good, and that's how it is. And it's a great conference. It's nothing but competition.
But we have 4 teams. I think we get to St. Louis, and I think we have plenty of teams after that. So that's when I say that about league, where I think 4 teams could get to St. Louis. Any one of those 4 teams, that must mean we're pretty good.
Okay, everyone, fasten your seatbelts. It's time for the Lincoln Mercury Drive of the Week.
Oh, Hill, what a job to work that baseline and get the basket, a dozen points for the sophomore from Queens.
Likes what he sees so far from the St. John's program. Joining us now, head coach Norm Roberts. Thanks a lot for coming in.
Well, thanks a lot for inviting me.
First of all, when you hear Coach Carnesecca say something like the program's going in the right direction, they're well coached and everything like that, how does that make you feel as a coach?
Well, it makes me feel great because you know he's a legend and he knows how to run a program, and he's done such a great job over the years at St. John's.
Let's talk about the season. You guys finished off 9-18, which is a vast improvement from what happened last year. We don't need to get into all the mess that happened last year, but it seems like the program is moving back in the right direction.
Well, I think it is, and when we came in, we wanted to set a foundation, and a foundation on hard work and discipline and playing unselfishly, and I think we've done that.
Talk about yesterday's game a little bit against Villanova. You guys came very close to winning. It seemed like a lot of the games you had this season, you guys were right there till the very end.
Well, we played hard. We played hard, and we put ourselves in a good position. We haven't been able to finish off games as well as we should. Against Villanova, who's a very, very good basketball team, they're a tremendous scoring team, and we did a great job defending them and limiting their points and took advantage of some situations, but we weren't able to finish it off.
We have a graphic up on the television screen right now. There's a half a dozen games there that you guys were pretty much in it to the very end. Do you feel like this, you know, it's granted it's going to take a few years, but do you feel like the program is close to returning to the national prominence that it once had?
Well, I hope so, but it's going to take time, and it doesn't happen overnight. And, you know, the tough thing for us is we had guys playing 38 and 40 minutes a game, and, you know, guys get fatigued, they get tired, and then maybe there's a turnover or things that wouldn't happen if they didn't have to play that many amount of minutes. So hopefully with depth coming in and more talent, it'll help us.
You guys had a game where you hung with Duke to the very end. You had some quality wins against NC State early in the year and against Pittsburgh. That certainly has to help with the confidence.
Well, I think it does. It showed that guys, they can play with anybody if we compete and do the right things, and, you know, we did that most of the time.
You're a New York guy. When you were hired back in April, a thing that stood out in my mind, which you said, is that you want to get back to recruiting here in New York City. Why do you feel that's so important?
Well, St. John's is New York City, and St. John's program's been based on New York City guys, and we've got to do that once again. And, you know, we have some good New York City kids right now in our program. We're going to bring in some next year and hopefully continue on in the future.
One of the guys you're going to bring in, Ricky Torres from the St. Ray's. Talk about him a little bit.
Well, he's a guy that's going to be an immediate impact guy for us because he can really shoot the basketball. The other thing I really like about Ricky is his basketball IQ is very high. He understands the game and has a great feel for it.
When you say basketball IQ, for the average fan at home that doesn't know what that means, and coaches, can you put it in regular fan speak instead of coaches speak?
Well, when he's got the ball in his hands, he knows what to do. He knows how to feed the post because he's a great shooter. He knows how to make the correct pass. He knows how to get it by his defender. He sees the game before it starts to happen.
When you talk about recruiting here in New York City, how do you go about doing that? Is it visiting with high school coaches, the AAU coaches, going to the summer camps? Is it things like that?
Yeah, you hit it all right on the head. We've got to be consistent. We've got to get out there in the communities, got to have people see my face, see my assistants' faces, get to the high school coaches, AAU coaches, but be consistent. Be there even when they don't have players that you're going to recruit and build those relationships.
As a New York guy, does it kind of burn you a little bit when you see a guy like Julius Hodge leave New York City to go play at NC State or things like that? Does that kind of bother you?
No, that doesn't bother me because, you know, we only have 13 scholarships. We can't get them all. And New York City's a place, unlike most cities, they have a ton of players. You know, there could be 25, 30 Division I players, high-level players coming out of New York in 1 year, and we can't take them all. Sometimes it's, you know, it's a better fit for a kid to leave the city, but I know there's many kids that it's a better fit for them to stay here.
You were an assistant at both Illinois and Kansas, national powers. What did you learn from those experiences?
Well, I learned competing at a high level. I learned that you really have to make sure your teams are prepared because when you're playing at the highest level, everybody's talented, everybody's big, everybody's strong. It's how you prepare your team, the toughness, the small little details is what gets you the wins.
Next season, you're going to have Darrell Hill back for another year. How important is his leadership going to be for your team?
Oh, it'd be great because Darrell not only leads, you know, vocally, he leads with his actions. And, you know, this year, one of the reasons why our team was so good is Darrell was our best practice player every day. He works hard, he doesn't, and guys want to follow him.
It's been a tough couple of years for St. John's, but will we see St. John's back to being the powerhouse that it should be?
I believe we will. It's going to take some time, but if we're consistent, we work hard, we're good to people, good things will happen.
Coach, good luck in the future. Thanks so much for coming in. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
All right, still to come here on Sports Wrap Live, we'll talk baseball. Mike Piazza discussing.
Finishing with a 3-1 Sunday win. The Red Storm over the Fighting Irish. Carter Blackburn with Kevin Stocker, joined by Anthony Sullivan.
We go. The Johnnies looking to boogie on.
But what the heck? These games not
for St. John's University this year, a 40th appearance in what is this season the Panasonic Holiday Festival. It's a tournament the Red Storm, formerly Red Men, have won 13 times. But to make it 14, they'd have to do it without leading scorer Darrell Hill. The swelling in his left knee simply has not gone away. On that note, facing UMass in the title game, St. John's up 9. Eugene Lawrence to a wide-open Anthony Mason Jr. He's had fun in this tournament, hitting a 3. Red Storm by 12. Second half, Johnnies on the break off the UMass miss. Lawrence to the hole, and the lefty lay-in, 45-37 Red Storm. Under a minute left, tied at 49. Lamont Hamilton low for Aaron Spears, who banks it in. Johnnies by 2, 7.5 left. Anthony Mason Jr. inbounding, and Spears loses the handle. UMass would get the ball back and a chance to tie. Norm Roberts doesn't like this one bit. Can his team clamp down defensively? Final seconds. Chris Lowe Jr. has it blocked. Spears and Lamont Hamilton helping St. John's preserve a 51-49 win. Lawrence the MVP of the tournament. St. John's winning the Holiday Festival for a second consecutive season. The consolation game matching Columbia.
A giant step farther, opening the brand new state-of-the-art Taffner Field House. What do you say we go inside and get a tour of this brand new facility with head coach Norm Roberts?
Welcome to Taffner Field House. This is our new practice facility here at St. John's. We're going to take you on a little tour right now and show you what we have here on campus. We had a company come in by the name of Z Design. What they did was they tried to encompass all the history of St. John's as well as past, present players that have been here. And we tried to make sure we went into all the different eras of St. John's basketball and their total tradition. When you walk through this tunnel right here leads right into Conoseca Arena. One thing that we thought was really important for our program is that we had to improve our weight training facility. And this is a weight training room that is used just for men's and women's basketball here at St. John's. And, we have all the state-of-the-art equipment. Our guys can work out in here anytime that they need to. This right here is our team locker room. This is where our guys locker out of here. Flat screen TV and those things. So they're in here watching TV as well, or tape, or whatever we have. This is our training room facility here. Our great trainer, Ron Limfont. Ron and his staff can be right here at all times with our guys. This is our media room here. We do all our press conferences and things like that inside here. We also watch film and tape when we have video sessions. Right here, it's office, 2 coaches. Coach Quarterbound and Coach Martin are in here. This is our big Lithuanian here on the side. This right here is our recruiting room, lounge area that we have recruits and their families that come in. We can watch the 2 courts over top here. St. John's has done a great job over the last 4 or 5 years of building new facilities. This is one thing that they really wanted to get done for men's basketball.
The facility is great because sometimes we can't practice in the Conoseca Arena, so we have our practice in here, and then when everybody's done, we can just stay and shoot at any basket that we want without anybody interrupting us.
These type of practice facilities help you get better, weight rooms, you got 24/7 access to the gym. It just helps you put in extra time as a basketball player. When you get the extra time in, you get better.
It's great, and I just want to thank all the people before us that played, that got us, as Chris Mullen, all those great names that really put St. John's where it's at, and I just want to thank them. This is a great facility, and for all the kids coming in after me and when I'm gone, it's going to be great for them.
The Taffner Field House is part of a $23 million athletic and student recreation enhancement project.
It's the first time I've been able to speak first.
The generosity of St. John's trustee Eleanor Taffner and her husband Donald, who is an alumnus, made this remarkable facility possible. The Taffners, a wonderful and loving couple, are avid supporters of students throughout the campus and attend almost every St. John's basketball.